Oh no. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Oh wait, no.
Alright, before we take any more shots, well, I'm gonna start off the first episode of Inside CS together with Flav, Devilwalk, and OCX, who is gonna join us tonight and give us that honor of some amazing hosting. Alright, welcome everyone, and it seems to be time for starting off the event anytime soon, so I want to welcome everyone. And Devilwalk, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm fine, you know. It's great weather, sitting inside the computer sweating for a bit and watching the World Cup and other esport titles, I guess. Dota is up, TI4, watch that a lot, so yeah, you know, I'm having a great day, and obviously we have this, and I enjoy chatting for a bit, so I'm excited.
Alright, when you mentioned chatting, we're gonna start off first of all talking about ESEA and IronGaming. That is gonna be the first topic we're gonna discuss. Then we're gonna go up with some CSGO update and the Mappool of EMS One, and then we're gonna finish off the show with asking some viewers, letting them answer some questions and ask some questions as well. So we might be lucky as well to get one or two here in TeamSpeak, so they can actually ask some questions in person. Anyways, if you again want to know who is in the show tonight, once more, it's OCX, it's Devilwalk, Flav, and me, Two-Face, which you already know from casting a lot of matches. But, so, let's start off. We have the first discussion that we're going to discuss. It is the IronGaming. So, first of all, what do you think about IronGaming, Devilwalk? I mean, you probably seen who won, how the matches were, and what is your opinion?
Well, obviously I've seen quite a lot of complaints on the internet. I didn't really watch all the games. They were quite late, if I'm not mistaken, and yeah, I didn't really watch all the games. I saw Net dominated quite heavily during the whole tournament, but otherwise I've seen a lot of pictures, photos, and you know, people complaining about the event in general. Don't really have a strong opinion since I haven't really watched the streams, but it's obviously unfortunate that top teams of the world are coming to a tournament where it's not very well organized.
Well, it was some issues with keyboards, like you had to have them in your lap. That was a bit that was a bit awkward. I mean, that's not something you should be having as an organizer. I mean, that's like one of the basic stuff that you need to have in order. I don't know. Have you heard about the bomb threat that was delaying IronGaming as well? What was that all about? Seriously.
Yeah, that just seems really, I don't know, if it's someone trolling, calling the cops. Like they did, for example, on Nothing stream, swatting, or what it's called. But you know, the table thing is just, I don't know. I mean, is it that hard to actually know like a real setup for a player, how much space they actually need? Because they basically only could have the mouse pad on the table, and they had their keyboards in their lap, if I'm not mistaken.
They especially yeah, Flav. I mean, you can also comment on it, but like we saw some pictures where I believe it was a Fiflaren, was it, that was having like the keyboard in the lap, or who was it? I just cannot remember exactly, but I saw like one of the NFP guys basically playing with the keyboard in their lap. That was insane.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do that as a professional player. It's, I don't know. You probably have something to say, Flav.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the picture which we posted actually on the NIP Gaming Facebook page. Pretty much the whole team at the start had to play with the keyboard on the lap. I don't know if it developed to be better, but I think for a tournament with that much of a prize pool, it should really be possible to get tables with an appropriate size.
Yeah, I mean, tables aren't really shouldn't be any shortage in the States, I believe. So yeah, they could fix that. I mean, they actually spent, from what I saw, they had a big screen and all that. So I mean, they probably spent quite a lot of money on actually having the event. So I'm very, yeah, I don't really know how or who planned that, but it just seemed to be a mess overall.
But let's also mention the other thing that I was talking about. It's the actual bomb threat. Don't you think that is a little bit like taking it like to a different level? A lot of people are saying like that's DDoS on a different level, but like a bomb threat basically, that is in my opinion a little bit too much. I mean, we can have some players perhaps having some issues with someone, even having a fight. I mean, that happens, but like so suddenly that you hear that there's a bomb threat in that center where it's actually held, that land, so everyone has to be evacuated. That has to be like really taking it too far.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure, but at the same time, you can't really like criticize the actual event for having a bomb threat.
No, of course not, of course not.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's the States that's crazy or yeah, it's some next level of trolling at least.
I just
If
think it's
that's the
stupid.
case.
I just think it's stupid. I mean, of course, let's keep it like on a normal level. I mean, there's absolutely nothing to like blame the organizers for. They done absolutely nothing wrong. But I just, in my opinion, think that it's taking it a bit too far. Like, okay, we can have DDoS. That is something we're all used to, but all that other things, that is, in my opinion, a little bit too much. All right. OCX, you've been quiet for a little while. Can you tell us a little bit about ESEA and yeah, just lead the topic?
Well, sure. So as we see, we're going to talk about ESEA Invite Season 16. It was quite a surprise to see NIP lose versus Complexity. It shook me off. It really did. And then iBuyPower winning the whole thing. What do you think about that, Devilwalk?
I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm surprised. I mean, we've seen with a lot of tournaments ever since basically the year of NIP ended, that home turf winners is like a thing. I mean, we saw ESWC with Kiyoshima Clammy and those guys. We saw, you know, Fnatic winning Premac Winter, obviously, I have to mention. But, you know, American Lance, ESEA, the previous one, the American team won again. So this is their second in a row. So, I mean, it's a big trend in CSGO. And you know, I mean, it's a big achievement for iBuyPower winning the whole tournament. And even Complexity showing that they're a really, really solid, strong side against the European teams. But, you know, yeah, I'm surprised, but at the same time, I'm not that surprised.
Yeah, we have to take in context as well as the map Cache, how you ever pronounce that. I don't think NIP was really prepared for that map since mostly Americans play that map. What do you think about that map in particular?
I believe NIP actually has pretty strong cache. You know, the Americans have obviously practiced it for longer, but in the recent months, cache has been kind of a standard map to have in tournaments. We saw, for example, like Face It League have it, you know, a bunch of tournaments, and even before like coming to the actual LAN tournament, they've been practicing cache online, and even season has been up. So, you know, I shouldn't really like. I'm not gonna say that. I don't think actually the American teams have that much of an edge going into cache because I played the NIP on cache and they have quite a strong cache, and so yeah, I just think it's more admirable by for the ones beating NIP on that map.
Of course, of course. It was also surprised seeing. I think when I saw that match, it was Forrest. I should be prepared for this. Anyways, he did not have a good score. What do you think about that? He like it wasn't his day.
Well, obviously, Garai Forrest is the hard hitters in the NIP lineup, but you know, it shouldn't really matter. You cannot put all the pressure on Forest. I think Exist, for example, has been absolutely a monster this last couple of months. So, I mean, him just dropping down a couple of frags in score-wise shouldn't really be a problem. I mean, he's an important player communication-wise, and all that. He just has that. He's just a complete player. So I don't think that him dropping down a few scores should affect Nip that much negatively. With Exist actually catching up, was he the best Nip player on the event? I'm not sure, but
he was
I kind of
definitely
thought he
top,
was.
I mean, I have to just come in there just to shortly and say, like, I definitely agree about the Exist. He was definitely on fire. We saw a lot of the matches where he basically was a monster, so he deserves to be praised. That was actually one of his best events, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Well, all right. Let's skip a little bit back as well to IronGaming, like NIP1. That was probably not a big surprise to so many people. They met Navi in the finals, and I mean, what is it to say? They were beating Exertus as well, which was one of the better American teams that people were like expecting them to come in and take NIP down. NIP just took it clean, both maps. Then we have Navi after that beating Armada, basically giving the opportunity to go into the finals. But in that match, we saw Fiflaren actually step up as well. Was it something that you expected, like to see Fiflaren actually performing perhaps just as good as the other players as well, or is it something that you perhaps predicted? I mean, you're a former team captain of a quite professional team, so your opinion is basically much more appreciated than mine.
I wouldn't say that, but I've seen Fiflaren has been stepping up a lot lately. He's been very criticized by the community, as well as I have in my past. So I just feel like Fiflaren has been stepping up like a lot. Obviously Forrest and Gerai does not have as much weight to bear then, and I just think there'll be a more stable team. But obviously I like Fiflaren, and I think it does an important job. Everything isn't about the score. I'm probably gonna say that for a long while, as I haven't had the greatest score in my career. But no, but I wasn't surprised that Fiflaren caught up and actually play as well as he did. He has been stepping it up the last couple of months as well with Exist, especially.
Well, I'm not gonna say anything, but I just don't agree that you have been slacking or whatsoever. I think actually you did a pretty amazing job. Now you're like the coach of the Fnatic team. I mean, you can tell us a little bit about that. Like, how come that suddenly we see you change into a coach? I mean, we're all used to see that Devilwalk come in and basically support the players, destroy everyone in his path. So what has happened now that you just suddenly decided, like, let's go coaching, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do from now on?
Well, it kind of depended on a lot of scenarios. I love playing. I just, but in our team we had a lot of problems mounting up and kind of building up, and there was basically no way of us actually fixing them. We've been staying together for so long. We were so good friends. Nobody wanted to kick each other or do anything like that, but at the same time we were kind of going into this slump we just couldn't get out of, and boot camping for like 3 or 4 weeks before DreamHack and crashing out in the group stage. I mean, the motivation and everything is it's really, really low, and therefore I took the decision to step down and release Schneider to get this fresh motivational group of players and a mix of personalities that I think would meld perfectly together. And I think I can do what I did in the previous lineup, where I kind of been that glue or or so to say, as people have stated before. So I think I can focus more on that aspect and that job, and actually do it better with this team, having more focus on it. And that's kind of why I decided to take it into this direction.
Well,
I actually have a quick thing here.
Yeah?
You've talked about the boot camp you had in before DreamHack. I remember DreamHack Winter, where NIP had this massive boot camp, and then they lost the final against you, of course. What do you think is the impact of such a boot camp? I mean, when I talked to the NIP guys, they said it probably was a bit too much time spent with each other. It was like too much time together. What is your point on that?
I mean, you kind of have to find the balance for every team. If it's just a couple of days you need, or weeks, but we had so much things to do to actually fix our play that we kind of forced ourselves into this situation, being lazy on practice, all this kind of stuff. So we kind of forced ourselves into this scenario. Obviously, I don't mind spending four weeks with the boys. I had a lot of fun, but obviously that can affect as you annoy it. You live together, 5 people. You're gonna get annoyed at each other at some point. So I mean, it could be both a negative and a very positive thing, but I think it's just about taking responsibility and actually making the best out of it. And I'm not sure we actually did. I mean, we tried our hardest, but yeah, sometimes it's just better to have a shorter one where you can have a full focus on the few days instead of kind of dropping down in focus during the later weeks or later stages of the bootcamp.
Well, that is actually a really good point of view as well. But let's stay here on the schedule. Flav, you're gonna talk a little bit about the CS:GO update, and you're gonna lead on that one. So the stage is yours.
Yeah, of course. Second topic here tonight is the CS:GO update. Actually, it's update with an S at the end because we have 2 updates we kind of want to focus on. So we had the first update bringing a lot of changes to especially the CSED, some drastic changes to the Desert Eagle as well, and especially the wall banging issue. The second update then actually came in and removed some of the wall banging problem because basically on Dust 2 through mid it was too easy to kill people. So we have metal doors now. Now, Devilwalk, when you look at it from a competitive point of view, how much wall banging is like the right number to have? Like, how much damage should, for example, an AWP or an AK do through a wall, in your opinion?
I thought it was fine before, especially on the wooden doors at Dust 2. I'm not sure like what actual impact it might have now with the metal ones. I could see standing close as CT, holding mid, be very viable now, since wall banging basically, if you're going to wall bang a CT through that door, it's going to take 100 bullets with an AK. So, I'm not sure the terrorists have the time to waste that. So I think that would be very viable. On another point, I think AWPing mid CT becomes less viable. I'm not sure actually if it actually maybe becomes more viable, but it has another impact. Just holding the angle means you're pretty much safe. If the one who has control over mid is pretty much safe, as you can just back off the angle and not really get hit. So I think it's going to be a lot of control and a lot of ops actually set up on short, actually holding mid, because they're pretty safe from wall banging. But yeah, it's hard to actually know. I haven't really seen a Dust 2 game being played after the update, so it's a very hard question to answer. But I think just more general wall banging is good, but the doors were fine before, I think.
Okay, I think before the update we had a kind of equal trade, so to speak, like the terrorists and the CTs both had a kind of equal chance to get a kill in mid. But for me, especially on Dust 2, after the first update, If you had 2 or 3 orbs, like this was pretty much annoying in matchmaking. It will be less annoying in a competitive match, of course. It was pretty much a guaranteed kill the mid because it was a one-shot orb through the mid door. Now with the metal door, they probably kind of jumped over the real goal because it's now not really viable anymore doing wall banks. So it will probably benefit a CT sniper. It could actually benefit him when he stands to the right and kind of covers short because he can't be killed from it pretty much.
Yeah, definitely.
So actually, we already go to the next little part, which I think is a bigger part to discuss, which is the pistols. Like for me, the pistols in general is a big topic to discuss when we talk about strategy in CS:GO. We had the CZ, which was used a lot. What do you think? Which guns, which pistols are the most used at the moment, and why are they the most used, and what makes them the best in competitive play, especially?
For pistols, the CZ is still very much viable. It's not like it's got a little nerf, but it's basically as powerful. So I still think the majority of people still uses that, and the anti-ecos hasn't really been easier for either side, for the ones winning the pistol. I think that's one of the hardest rounds in competitive Counter-Strike right now. A lot of people buying the CZ with armor, a couple nades, and you're trying to scat out the info, and you should win the round. You kind of mind fuck yourself. Sorry for that word, but into not having the, let's say, confident to actually take over stuff because you don't want to risk losing a gun in an anti-eco position. But I see maybe the Tech 9 could get some more light shed on him. Other than that, I think people will stay with the CZ, and I think it needs a nerf while moving. Wasn't the nerf about while standing still?
Yeah, and crouching as well.
Yeah, but people just run with the CZ, so
Yeah.
I don't see the actual nerf.
I don't know if you've tried it out, but for me, the Deagle, like I only play matchmaking, I'm kind of noob as well. So for me, the Deagle has been improving a lot. Like it is possible now to use the Deagle and get like 2 or maybe 3 kills if you're really prepared and really well played with the Deagle. Because like the first shot is always a headshot pretty much if you aim well.
I mean, the Deagle's been popular even before this update, so I mean, you've seen players, maybe there's like 3 or 4 CZ, but there's always a Deagle there. And, maybe it will change to maybe 2-3 CZs and a couple of Deagles. Who knows? I've also felt the change and the buff of the Deagle. I think it's easier to use now. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, considering. I mean, to be realistic, I mean, it should probably be a bit more powerful, considering how powerful the CZ and all the other pistols are, if you compare it to the Deagle. So, I guess it's a good buff, but I think pistols generally is so strong anyways.
I actually have 2 pistols left which I want to talk about. One is the dual Berettas. With $500 now, they're more affordable. Do you think we will see them more in competitive play, or are they really just the casual guns for casual gaming?
No, I could see duels being really effective in pistol rounds, CT side. But other than that, I've played with when Schneider was in the team. He played a lot of CT pistol with duels, just hiding in a corner, and once they come out, it just spams them down, So it's absolutely viable in play. And now with an extra grenade for a smoke or anything, obviously it's going to be more viable. So that's a good change. I mean, they want to see it being used. So I mean, with an extra nade on the pistol round, I could see I mean, even Titan used the double dual on Mirage before on their CT pistol, so they're definitely happy with the change, I would think.
Yeah, and like the last pistol, which hasn't been really affected by the update, even though kind of the nerf of the CZ does affect it, because I'm talking, of course, about the P250. For me, this gun was really, I actually still love this gun. I'm still playing to P250, but as I said, I'm not really a professional player. Would you love to see the P250 more? I would kind of prefer to see like a 50% chance of seeing a P250 as well, because for me it was a strong pistol and it should really still be a strong pistol. I see no reason to really replace it fully with a CZ. What's your point on that?
I actually do like the P250 a lot. Like a couple of months back, I only used the P250 because I always bought it on pistol round. Especially on the T side, but I actually bought it on the CT side as well, because just the general spamming of the bullets with a P250 is much more accurate or much more controllable than an P2000 or a USPS. So I really like that, holding usually a single sight almost always by myself. That had a good impact for me, so I really liked it. And obviously, I think the CZ is more powerful, but I'm on you with the 50-50, and I think Valve is also trying to go to that aspect, the 50-50 one. They don't want everyone using one weapon.
Okay. One last thing to the pistols. This is more a general question. The choice of a pistol, like the choice, what pistol am I going to use this round? Is this a really situational decision, like depending on one hand, of course, the economy you have, like how much money do I have, what map is it, or is it more like pretty clear from the start, when there is a pistol round, I'm going to use the CZ or the Deagle?
I think most people just use the CZ and the Deagle. There's obviously, I can't really think of a scenario where the P250 is better, because you always have a greater chance of getting, I'm not gonna say lucky, but a quick kill with the CZ, and that's kind of what you need on the eco rounds. You don't want a duel for. Yeah, you don't want a long-range duel or a duel for a long period of time. You want this quick surprise kill, just running up against, the terrorists just popping up. So that's why I kind of feel like the CZ is probably gonna have at least a 90-10 percentage towards it.
Okay. Another thing with the new update is, of course, the new cases as well, the new esports cases, plus the changes with the maps. And I'm taking now the more casual approach here, because we're going to talk about the kind of professional approach more in the EMS1 topic later on. What do you think of this switch from having just the old map rotation to active duty maps and reserve maps? Active duty having overpass and cobblestone, and train being moved to the reserve maps. In terms of matchmaking and casual play, I guess you play matchmaking here and there as well. Do you like that change? Do you like that we have more newer maps in the active duty and train being kind of removed from that?
I obviously want change to the maps, but I'm gonna, change is important, but the actual time span that people had to practice these maps and to actually get settled in with these is way too short than it's obviously needed for players to actually get a grip of it. I played the Overpass for the first time a couple of days ago, and I understood nothing at all. I was so confused. There's so many, like I don't really understand the game design of the maps yet, so I was very confused playing that map. So, I like I like that they're bringing in new maps. Obviously, I'm a big fan of trains, so I'm a bit disappointed by that, but it's just about the actual time span, like 1 month to bring in two like completely new maps, and one that's like it's basically 3 new maps, but Cash has been in half of every tournament rotation for a couple of months now, so that's not as bad. You know, people know the map, people can play it, people have actually practiced it. But I could see Overpass kind of being fun to watch, fun to play. Cobblestone seems like a very, very big and chunky map that, yeah, I don't know. My initial reaction is I'm not really feeling that it's gonna be fun to watch.
Well, I think it's kind of confusing, to be honest, that map. I mean, for competitive play, you know, it's kind of weird. For deathmatch, maybe, perhaps, but for like, let's say, Fnatic versus Mousesports or some other team like 5-on-5, that is just gonna be pure confusion.
It's a very the weird thing about the map is there's long rotations for everyone basically, and there's so many different ways to go that they're added. You know, I think it's just more positions you have to cover than you can actually do. So it just feels like a gamble in the end for the CTs, and I'm not sure if that's really enjoyable to watch. I'm sure people will figure out something to stop it, but yeah, I don't really know.
We will actually come back to the topic of Overpass and Cobblestone later in the MS1 topic, and I'm going to hand it over to Two-Face for a short in-between thing between the topic of the update and the MS1. So Two-Face, it's on you.
Well, we are halfway through, so I'm gonna show something, because we already met in real life. Devilwalk, we met at the Copenhagen Games when I was doing an interview with you during being a part of EFrag or Electronic Frag, which is a Serbian organization. I'm gonna put the video on for it's gonna last like 5 minutes, and after that we'll be back and talking a little bit more about the ESL. Alright, we're standing here with one of the probably most famous Counter-Strike global offensive players, the Devilwalk, and I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
Well, hi, I'm Devilwalk. I'm team captain of Fnatic CSGO and plays as a support player. That's basically who I am.
Alright, what can we expect from Fnatic in Copenhagen Games 2014?
Well, obviously we aim for a very high goal. We aim to finish top 3 every event we attend, and obviously we want to win. So expect us up there. It's going to be hard, obviously. We got so many good teams right now. Like, you got teams that are ranked like 10th, 12th even, who can still compete with a very, very top level of Counter-Strike teams. So, you know, it's going to be very tough, but that's where we were aiming at least.
Is there something we can expect differently this year, like from Fnatic? Maybe some changes in the strategies or something else?
After, like at EMS, we failed to really change our way of play. So I think we failed a lot on that. That's why we finished lower than we expected. So I think you can expect some changes on some maps. Some maps we're still pretty stable on, so there's no need to change something that's not worth, you know, don't change something that's working. So we've changed a lot on a lot of different maps. So you can expect a new playstyle, some new strategies, obviously, and yeah, great team play.
All right, is it going to be more aggressively or more defensively this time?
I think it's about balancing. I think some maps or some matches before we've kind of just went aggressive and never really found that balance where we should go back defensively now, or we start the match defensively. We kind of keep that like the whole game. So I think it's more about balancing it out and finding where you want to be. Like, if we won 6 rounds in a row defensively, maybe you can keep going defensively, you know. So finding that balance is something we've tried to, you know, find, I guess.
All right, what do you think about the new changes in CSGO, especially the new updates? Has it changed anything about your game style, or is it positive or negative?
I think all updates eventually become positive all around in CSGOs. I mean, everything they've changed. Some things have been pretty outrageous, like the AUG, for example. But I think they changed it to like a reasonable level after that. So they just need to pump these updates out and you know, tweak them after a while. But overall, in the gameplay changes, I mean, the major change wasn't really an update, but when people found out about the one-way smoke, I think that's changed the gameplay on some maps. But overall, it's pretty like the metagame shifts with every update, obviously, and some strategies work better than others. But I think it's normal Counter-Strike. You know, I don't think that it's changed that much, but still. Some small tweaks here and there.
What about the new auto pistol?
Well, anti-ecos is really hard nowadays. So, I mean, you have to... I don't think it's like... Might be considered OP like a bit, but at the same time you only have like one chance of killing someone. So it's kind of like 50-50 on my side, but... yeah, I don't know. It's much harder playing anti-ecos, and you have to really think about what you're doing. We've struggled with that for a while now, but I think we're starting to clear things up after that update. But overall, yeah, yeah.
Your favorite weapon, what would it be in Counter-Strike?
The AK-47 for sure. Getting those lucky one-shots, that's my style.
That's your style, all right. About your team at the moment, what is your strongest element? Is it a teamwork, or is it the aim, or what is it that just makes Fnatic Fnatic?
I think it's teamwork and utilizing every player's strongest suits. For example, Schneider, great aimer, like one of the best in the world for sure. You got Flusha, utilizes him for clutches, probably one of the best clutches in the world. And you got JW with the AWP and entry killing, so I'm not going to say too much about myself. You know, we got the brains with Pronax as well, so I think it's how we utilize our players and make them fit as a team. That's our strongest side.
What is your biggest fear, like here coming in games? Like, is there something like maybe a team that you fear the most?
I wouldn't use the word fear, but there's a lot of teams I respect for the way they're playing. You know, you obviously have NiP, Titan, and Virtus, who's like the big three. Very different play styles if you look at those three teams and try to separate them. So I think it's those three I respect the most going into a match. So yeah, I'm gonna say them.
Is there anything you want to say for the fan base of Fnatic and everyone that's watching this interview, and probably also the one in the future?
Yeah, I want to huge thanks. You know, without you guys, I couldn't be here. I couldn't do what I do, and esports wouldn't be that big. So, love you all, and thank you.
All right, thank you for this interview.
Thank you.
Alright, we are back, and now we're gonna discuss something regarding ESL, but I'm not gonna reveal it yet because that's Flav's job. But let's start off and talk about something that's falling into our eyes and into our attention. That Thorin, he was actually making a post, so I'm gonna put it on the stream for all you people. And Flav, you carry on.
Yeah, so the topic, as I've already written it in the chat, is of course going to be EMS One. And that means basically the change of the map pool as well as the new veto system. So what Thorin tweeted was, do I have the right tweet? I hope so. No, I have the wrong tweet up. That's pretty good. GG.
All right,
that preparation.
Well, basically, it's saying it will be a miracle if ESL 1 Cologne is actually a good tournament with that map pool and random third map selection. So, what do you think, Devilwalk, on this one?
I mean, I'm kind of split on the veto system. I mean, I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to make teams play different maps. The BO1 system, sadly, is pure shit, in my opinion. The BO3 one, I actually kind of like. The one with ban one each side, and then pick one, and then continue banning. I kind of like that. Before it was like you banned the map you didn't play, you banned their best map, and you kind of got this middle-ish maps where both teams are kind of good at, so you get an even match, I guess. But now you get to utilize your good map, your best map, much more every team. So I like the best of three veto change, but I really doubt that anyone would like the best of one.
So for me, like before we go into the veto a bit more, is again the map topic which we talked about in before, the removal of train. D-Train, how it was called earlier, like before CSGO. Train has been such a big map in esports for me. Like Train, it was in 1.6, we had it in CS Source. For me, Train was one of my favorite maps. It always brought to you a really strategical game, actually, because as a CT you had an advantage, but if the terrorists had really well prepared strategies, it was possible to have a really entertaining match. So what do you think about the removal of a map which in my opinion can bring a lot in terms of pleasure for the viewer?
I mean, I'm obviously very biased in this regard, since Train was maybe our best map in terms of all the maps. So you know, I really like Train. I don't know why people don't like Train. I think it's the most entertaining as a player. I'm not sure how entertaining it is for people to watch it, but I really enjoy playing it. It's a map where team play is a necessity. You know, you can't play Train and not be like spot on with your communication, strategies, and positioning. It's very punishing. You can punish a team very well if the team has bad positioning. So I like the map for that reason, and you know, obviously I'm sad to see it go, but yeah, I don't really know what to say else.
So Train kind of got replaced by Cobblestone and Overpass. You've said before you're critical, especially I think about Overpass, which pretty much fits into what I think. For me, Cobblestone, you can kind of argue that it is a good map for competitive play because you can still kind of defend the spots but Overpass is such a big map with such many different ways to go. What do you think? Why does Valve implement such maps, and what changes are needed to those if they want to continue on having tournaments on those maps?
I mean, I'm not really sure what kind of changes. I watched a video with, I think, iBuyPower Steel and some other American guy. I'm not sure who it is, but they made a list and a video that was up on Reddit for a while, a couple of days back, I think. Watched that. They had some really good points about maybe even changing the actual bomb spots to a different spot and making Overpass like viable for competitive play. But you know, I can't really say that I'm really that skeptical about Overpass. Obviously, I don't know since I haven't really seen it being played that much. I myself, I don't really understand the map, but we'll see how it works out. Cobblestone is like, it just feels boring. It has long rotations for both teams. I think action will be a very gambly map. There's no way for like either T or CTs really to get any map control vision to try to like see where the terrorists are going or the CTs have stacked or anything like that. It's it feels almost like you have to commit to a site to actually get the knowledge, and for me that's boring. I don't know.
Well,
Okay.
well, I'm just gonna say something really quick here. I mean, I've noticed that a lot of players are getting notified like so close to the actual event. Like, in my opinion, I mean, if there's gonna be something up into like before a major tournament, they need to notify the teams like a lot earlier. Like 1 month is definitely not enough. Like when Catch was introduced, it was first played like in online leagues and smaller tournaments. Like you had to practice it a little bit, you know, just like in order to stay up high in the league. Like the best example would be ESEA. But if the maps are tested in this way, you're able to see if the map is suited for competitive play in the long run. Instead, we are now focused to practice a map mainly because of the veto system that hasn't never been tested at a pro level. Teams and developers, they don't really know if these maps are suited for competitive play, unlike Season, Tuscan, Contra, and Mill, for example.
No, yeah, I mean, it's spot on. I think Foreign also mentioned that, you know, you can't really put maps. I mean, the thing about this, sorry about that, is that people actually, for the most part, haven't even seen the maps being played. Like, it's obviously Cobblestone is from way back in 1.6. It even has a past of being a competitive map, but you know, Overpass, you know, you have to be playing like these maps on a matchmaking level. But usually, when I've played matchmaking, I usually play the standard maps like Nuke, Inferno, you know, Dust 2, etc., etc. But I've never really gone off that and played like these, what I've considered being casual maps. So, you know, it's a shame that the players haven't really even casually played it either. So they don't know anything about it, and that's what is scary and at the same time really, really sad.
Yeah, I think actually in this regard also now the veto system becomes important. Best of one, we have ban A and then ban B, and best of three starts off the same. Now the first question which comes up in my mind is, are we going to even see those maps? Because you can just instantly ban these two maps out. What is your point on that? Are we going to see any of these maps even being played?
I'm actually not sure. That might be a case that people actually say like, okay, let's not play these maps, let's play the other five. But at the same time, I think it gives an advantage to some people as well. So I'm not really sure how it will pan out. I think people will try it, test it for a few weeks or a week or so, and see like how they feel for it. Because you know, I just don't really know what's gonna happen. It could be a case that just both teams have a gentleman's agreement, because it's just not possible to practice the map fully.
Yeah. Another thing is with the new veto system, we really have a high chance of kind of going away from this typical Inferno matches and seeing those two all the time. We kind of get a bigger pool of maps which are going to be played. Pimp did actually a Twitter post which says ESL and Valve has to be the biggest joke at what they do, forcing teams to be ready to play 6 to 7 maps with their stupid veto system. For me, the question really is it too much to ask for being ready on 6 to 7 maps for professional gaming teams? Is that too much?
I mean, it's not too much if you get a couple of months to actually practice the maps. I think if they made the decision way back, like let's say 1.5 month ago, then I don't think the negative response from the community would be that high. I think it's more about the actual timing that they actually released this info. Obviously, there would be people criticizing Valve anyways and being negative, but I think 1 month is just way too little time.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I do
it's
agree.
all, yeah, exactly. But the thing is, like, you need to like create proper crossfires, like which angles that need to be held, like the way to like retake a site. I mean, all the different nade spots and timings, like which weapon to use when managing your economy. I mean, stuff like that. You know, everything has an effect on the game, and if you have 1 month, that is basically, even if you play 24/7 the game, like for straight for 30 days, you're still gonna end up with a lot of issues at the actual event, because you know, you will still be like new to the game basically. The only thing you can base the victory on is your own team's luck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna give an extra example. I mean, we got a new lineup. You know, obviously we changed the game plan, we changed the game style to fit these new players. And just playing a map you've played for basically 10 years of your life still takes up to like more than a month to actually prepare fully on a map you've already played for 10 years. You know, you obviously it's a lot faster learning that map than a completely new one. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, I mean, people think that maybe the professional players are lazy, but you gotta think of it like this as well. I mean, these two maps aren't the only map you're gonna practice. You have 7 maps you have to practice now in a 1 month span. Let's say you play 5 days a week. You have 4 weeks, so that makes 20 days of practice. Let's say you can play six hours each day with the team. I mean, you're basically gonna play the map once or at best twice a day, and getting the experience of playing the map 20 times in your whole career is just way too little.
Yeah, and also one of the things with these two maps is that I feel like they're putting out those two maps and then they're gonna play them. And as you said, at maximum you play these maps 1 to 2 a day. It's not gonna be enough. It's more gonna be, I'm not gonna say a Sylvan luck. It's more gonna be of individual skills of the teams. Because they don't know what positions to take, what to defend, where to go, and what mostly where to hold. I don't know, is that just me or do you guys agree?
I mean, yeah, obviously.
Well, there is not so much new to say about it. We already discussed it. Like there is some new angles and stuff like that to focus on. But let's get back to the topics here. So in the future, we will basically see some new Fnatic action. That is really some good news, because a lot of people were worrying now since the change that I don't know, like Devilwalk being a coach, it's something that no one was expecting, and then suddenly now the team is like thrown back. But as I hear it from your point of view, Jonathan, I'm just gonna call you by your real name. I actually see a really bright future for Fnatic. I mean, having you as a coach is probably the best thing they could have at the moment, and I really wish you the best luck on that one.
Yeah, thanks. I'm also very excited. You know, we got the 5 players of extreme individual, you know, skill, and you know, just the perfect mix of players, I would say, just personally and individually in game. So I'm very excited for things to come, and you know, we've set high goals for ourselves. We obviously don't want to disappoint ourselves. We obviously understand we have a short time span of actually getting everything together, but it's a team that I think everyone should almost piss their pants for.
All right. Well, I have a question here. Devilwalk, if you could pick one player that you believe is not suitable to be on the esports scene at the moment, that's like in general the entire scene, which one would you think is like in trouble at the moment regarding probably frags, skills, or whatsoever?
Wow, such a negative question.
I know.
I have no freaking idea. I'm just gonna quickly go to HLTV and check stats and get the actual fact for this.
No, that's cheating. That is cheating.
On cheating, I don't know the answer to this question. Let's just I mean, I see Overdrive not doing very well. He has no team though. But yeah, I have no idea. I mean, there's so hard to actually be a like a proper professional player. You know, stats wise, it's merely impossible fighting against Forrest, Gerai, and you know those guys in a match. You know, just getting kills in itself is pretty impressive. So obviously everyone is skilled, but everyone can improve their aim. But obviously, game sense and all that, communication, it's much harder to practice. And I think everyone. And people who struggle with that are obviously important in other aspects to the team. Otherwise, they would get kicked. You know, if you don't contribute anything, why would you be in the lineup?
All right. Well, we have as well one guy here, Waken, asking, Devilwalk, you would like Valve to add the Tuscan, and how will Fnatic prepare for the map if they added it?
I mean, that's. I mean, obviously, I would like Tuscan to be played, but I think we all have been talking about Tuscan for basically the whole existence of CS:GO. That would be a map that I think a lot of people would play. I think a lot of people would be very eager to play, and you know how to prepare for the map. You know, shoot some headshots and go plant the bomb, I guess. I mean, it's not so much to say about it.
The standard terrorism. Alright, well, I have one more question here. Alright, there's a long question actually coming in here. Speaking about Mappool, do you maybe have a feeling the Valve or ESL simply gave up on working and cooperating with pro players and just started working on their own hand for their own gain? Did this also apply for the recent updates that they just tossed a few days before? And if it's broken, they just rush some quick, let's hope it's fixed patches? And do you think there might be some kind of protest of pros to try to make Valve and others to adjust the game for their players and not for themselves? And yeah, there's actually more questions here. And what do you think about the upcoming ESL one in general with all the updates, Mappool vetoes? Is it going to impact on top teams' performance and their placements in the tournaments? Thanks.
Well, okay, that was a long question.
Yeah. It is in the chat, so you can actually read it like and answer it slowly.
Oh yeah, there we go. I mean, I think Valve wants to talk to players, but all players aren't really that accessible, I guess. You know, it's very difficult for Valve to. They can't just headhunt people and do things like that. But at the same time, I think they have to reach out to the community as well. Maybe talk to NIP guys, you know, set up a conversation, maybe a Skype chat, like an old chat, where they can get feedback. They can get. Doesn't really need to be one-on-one with Valve. It just needs to be something they can reach out and look at. And you know, sometimes pro players are wrong. Sometimes they have valued info and valued feedback to give. You know, professional players aren't perfect. Sometimes we'll rage and tell Valve probably too much or too little, but I think they need to make some kind of move to get us involved with it as well. At least with thoughts, you know, not the actual decision-making process, but kind of give an outside perspective on things other than developing the game. And I'm trying to look for the other questions here.
Well, it's basically the last one saying, is it going to impact on top teams' performances and their placements in the tournaments, like all these updates and Mappool and everything?
For sure. I mean, it will be more random than it has been before, and you know, it could be a good thing for some teams and bad for others. But you know, at the end of the day, it's everyone needs to accept what is and kind of move on. Obviously, you can shout at Valve and say they did a bad job or anything like that, but you know, I think in general it will impact, but I'm just hoping it won't be that detrimental.
All right. Well, Osix, do you have a question perhaps for Devilwalk?
I do. So, you guys, you bet NRP, right? How did that feel? I mean, what did go through your head the moment you beat at NIP?
I'll go grab a smoke now. Obviously,
Very dangerous question.
it's always nice to beat your childhood friend Richard on the stage. I've done very, very many times, I guess, but not very many, but a few times. They're good friends of mine. Obviously, I'm sad that they didn't win, but I'm very, very happy and very relieved of the pressure when you're actually playing, and it's a nice feeling, That's why you play, that's why you're a professional player, and that's why you compete, is to get that kind of feeling. Everything's just joy. You can't rub your smile off your face for a couple of days, and
Well,
it's,
obviously, yeah.
it's very good.
I actually have something to go in kind of the same way.
Yeah.
One of our viewers, Titan Editor-in-Chief, just as a note, Emma, she wrote, are you going to do something like Karn did and being kind of the sixth player on communications during the games? Or are you really going to leave the players on their own discussing their things and you're just going to watch when they actually play games?
I'm probably gonna come with my insight, and I'm gonna be there, and hopefully, if the tournament allows for me to be on the comms, I will. Try to keep everyone's motivation up, kind of see if anyone's nervous, kind of adjust that. I want to do that, and if it's possible, then I will. Otherwise, a lot of responsibilities is on the players. I can't really change their play to a effectiveness of 100%. It's more about those small things that I can adjust and maybe get a more stable environment for them, I guess.
Yeah, something I ask myself personally, DreamHack Winter 2013, where you of course were crowned champions. How important was it to have someone like Patrick on the voice chats? Because for me, I can't remember if it was the first or the second map you kind of got a bit overwhelmed by the NIP, but then you really just said, no, we're going to crush them now, we're going to walk over them. How much influence does have a sixth person, which is not directly playing in such a situation? Can it give extra motivation, calm you down? Or how was the impact of a Karn in this situation?
We're a very emotional team and very momentum-based team. And, Karn's impact is probably kind of resetting that negative momentum, or kind of, getting our heads in the game. It doesn't really have that much of an impact, like tactic-wise. It's more about the emotional side, where he kind of guides us in the right direction, calms us down, and, which is obviously very important playing on a stage in front of, I don't know how many fit in the Dream Arena, but a couple of thousand, I guess, people live. So, and even more on the stream. So you obviously have a lot of pressure on you, and he kind of relieves that pressure from you, being that kind of cool daddy from behind. So yeah, that almost sounded really weird. But yeah, he definitely did have an impact.
Well,
yeah, that's totally what I actually expected to hear. I think that something like the sixth player can have a crucial impact, and for me it's something which could probably add something to CS:GO, because it makes matches more interesting, as there is really someone who can calm down teams when they are kind of in a bad mood, or get them not to be too excited about something. And I think in future I hope to see it more. I know it has been used, for example, in Halo in the US. They have this kind of thing with a coach, and I really hope to see it more.
I think it's something that that people will recognize and get into. I mean, Titan already taking a test run at it, so I think more people will go into that, because I think it could affect the team very positively in the long run.
Well, I have one question as well here from the viewers. Let's see if I can find it. It was way back when we started. Yeah. Okay, we actually did answer that already with your final question. Let's see if there is some more here, something interesting. There we go. Devilwalk, how did Olof fit in Fnatic's gameplay? Did he change a lot?
No, I think he fit in right, like perfectly from the beginning. You know, like we played a lot of gathers. You know, he was the obvious choice for us, bringing him in. You know, he's played very well at LAN. He has the experience, and you know, he plays the actual spots that we were missing at the time. So I don't think he's changed that much. I think he's, you know, he just fit right in, and I think for the play that it changed more was for Crims, but he's been doing very well at practice, so I wouldn't worry about that. He's been one of the hardest hitters in the team actually, so you should look out for that.
All right. Well, let's see. How much money does a pro CS:GO player earn in a year?
Wow. You know, I'm not gonna go into numbers. It's very, very different. It's, you know, you obviously have a monthly salary if you're in the top team, but you know, obviously winning DreamHack Winter was a very good year for us. But you know, you don't live luxury. Like you have enough to live and you know, have an apartment, etc., stuff like that. But it's not a very luxurious life. But at the same time, you don't really spend money on anything. You play most of the days and you play most of the time. So, for example, I have all my money saved up. I haven't really spent anything.
Well, let's see. There is one question here. How do you think about the $10 million Dota tournament? And do you think CS will go big like that?
I think that we're probably not gonna have a $10 million tournament because of the fact that I don't think Valve actually likes that they only have one big tournament a year, whilst the other being very low prize pools compared to that. They kind of taken the approach of splitting it up. Like in CS:GO, we have the, what is it, 3 a year? I think they want to have 4 a year, but for this year it's going to be 3, I think. 3 major tournaments, and I think it's just going to be these tournaments kind of piling up the prize pool depending on how much they get in from these boxes. I have no idea. I've heard it's a lot, but I think the major change in prize pool, like prize money, is probably going to be next year, if anything. But I think we can go big. I mean, just having $200,000 on a tournament is big for me. But going big like $10 million a tournament is, yeah, I just don't see it yet, at least, in for a while.
Well, Flav, can you come in a little bit about, like, in general? Let's put together a question here together, all of us. Fnatic in the future, we have seen and heard that the plans that Devilwalk was talking about earlier. Now the thing is, do you believe that the organization, that the entire Fnatic, are supporting your entire future plan that you have planned for your team? And if so, do you think that we will see the same lineup for quite a bit now, or is there maybe someone that might get at some point switched out?
No, I obviously believe in a long-term deal. We put this lineup up for a long-term team, so I mean, we obviously have no thoughts whatsoever on changing lineup. It's so fresh, it's so new, everything is going great, and obviously we have the support of Fnatic. Otherwise, they would probably not keep us. in esports, it's kind of like you support a team fully or you kick them. You know, if there's any doubts, you probably don't want anything to do with them. So they're obviously supporting us, and we're very fortunate to have that support from Karn and the rest of Fnatic. So, you know, I feel blessed.
You feel blessed. Okay. All right. Flav, do you have any questions for Devilwalk? I have one that I'm gonna ask right after. If you have something as well to add.
Well, for me, like, Fnatic has always been this outstanding organization, especially in Counter-Strike 1.6. I wonder now, for me, Fnatic at the very moment, they kind of have their two teams they seem to be big at, which is Dota 2 and League of Legends. How much pressure is on you guys to kind of be on the same stage as those two teams? Are you free of pressure, or is there a lot of pressure for you guys to really get at the very top of the CSGO scene?
I mean, obviously, being a Fnatic, you have pressure, but it's not coming from the organization. They believe in you, and they have a very gentle approach to that. But as a player, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. You know, you're wearing the Fnatic brand. You know, it's big, it's huge, and you know, you don't want to dishonor the Fnatic brand. You know, you want to embrace it, and you know, you want to be one of those teams that stick out in history of Counter-Strike. So it's more about putting heavy pressure on yourself to actually perform and actually being up there. So yeah, I don't know. It's pressure on yourself can be very, very tough as well. You know, yeah, but it's very loose from like they believe in you, they support you, and they don't really put any additional pressure, as there's so much pressure from the community already that they don't really need to.
Okay, that's cool. I guess that's really fortunate to have an organization like that, and I've heard that before from Fnatic members, and I know how it is kind of the same at NIP as we see it with the League of Legends team, which hasn't been performing well there, and they're still getting supported. I think it is very, very fortunate to have such an organization. But I think now I can give it back to Two-Face so he can ask his question.
Well, that question that I was about to ask was actually regarding skins. Is there any skin in particular that you like the most at the moment? And if so, do you believe that the actual skin can sometimes even make you better in game?
I'm actually of the belief that skins will make you worse, because I actually don't. The last 4 months, I think, or 3 months, I didn't use skins in game. It's more of a distraction than anything else. So I removed my skins while playing competitive matches. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it might boost your confidence having an Asimov, but it's purely mental, and you know, it's very personalized in that case. So obviously, if I think it can negatively affect someone, then it could probably be positive as well. So, but for me, I think it's more of a distraction than anything else.
All right, OCX, do you have any more questions for Devilwalk? You've been quiet. You've been quiet for a while. What are you doing out there? Just tell me exactly what are you doing at your PC right now, right this instant?
Right now,
yeah,
I'm playing competitive at Mist.
You're playing competitive at Mist, whatever that means.
Yes, it's a map for Breakout. Anyways, no, I do not have any questions for Devilwalk. I do want to thank him for taking his time and coming here, though.
Well, yeah, that is for sure. I did some giveaways, if you guys haven't noticed, while you were talking and answering some questions. So I think basically we got all the answers and things that we wanted to say. So I think we should wrap it up. And personally, I just wanted to say, like, thanks for Devilwalk to participate, and I mean as well, man, if you at some point have some free time, want to cast some matches as well, we usually get like much more viewers, like around 15K or something, like when we actually cast. So if you have any time, like any time free for doing some casts and stuff, you're welcome to contact me and tell me like what days and stuff, so you can join anytime as being the co-caster, basically.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I will definitely hit you up. I actually promised you to co-cast with you someday, so we'll set that up for sure.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
basically, everyone that has been watching, it was the first episode of Inside CS. I'm sorry we don't have webcam on, all of us, so you cannot see our sexy faces, but I put up some pictures to compensate, but hopefully next time we will have everything sorted out, so it's going to be a little bit more interesting, and we have some small games as well in mind for you guys, so it's going to be epic. I want to say personally from my own side, thank you for everyone that's been following and watching this first episode. We really appreciate the support that you guys stepped up and came here actually on like Sunday, like right before you have to work tomorrow, so we appreciate your time, we really do. I'm gonna leave the final words for the other guys, and yeah, for me, thank you and see you at the cast.
Yeah, well, also from me, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot to Devilwalk especially for joining us, also Shiex. Yeah, really follow us. We're gonna do more of that. We're gonna have this talk show weekly, so you should really tune in more frequent. I hope to see some more of you, and I hope to see especially all of you guys who are watching now next week again. And yeah, follow us on all the social medias. You can find the links below. And yeah, that's for my part. I guess Devilwalk here next.
Obviously I want to thank you guys for this opportunity. It's been fun talking a little bit Counter-Strike. Here for the viewers, and I obviously want to thank the viewers. You've been awesome, asking questions and interacting in the chat. And if you want to see more of Devilwalk, then you can follow me on facebook.com/DevilwalkCSGO, where I will update stuff like team progress, a couple of interviews, and video content surrounding CSGO mostly. And on Twitter, I'm at Fnatic Devilwalk, where you can follow me and I'll do some stupid tweets and whatnot. And I'll hope to see you guys later. Thank you.
Alright, yep. Thank you, Devilwalk, for being here with us today, and thank you to Face TV for taking me in. My name is Robin, aka OCX. You can check me out at OCXTvo. I do not have a Facebook link, as most of the pro players have and stuff like that, but I do a lot of plays. Not so much CS, actually. But yeah, thank you for checking out the Two-Face TV, and Flav, Two-Face, thank you for having me. Appreciate it a lot. And thank you, viewers, for checking in. That's it from me. Have a good time.
Alright, that'll be all, and everyone that's been watching, we're gonna say good night and enjoy the rest of your Sunday until hell starts tomorrow and Monday. So that's gonna be everything from us, and thanks for watching.